Hey up YouTube. Today is going to be a bit of a weird one. I'm down on the plot. It's Saturday the 20th, I think, is it? Hang on. 21st. Saturday the 21st of March today. We're going to be putting some potatoes in both soil and buckets. Not really for a side-by-side comparison, just because I can. I'm also live streaming from the plot, so like I said, today's going to be a bit weird. You're going to see me acknowledging cameras and things like that. It's the cameras, there's not that many cameras, there's maximum I think of 4. But we're going to be putting potatoes in both ground and buckets. I might put some of the onion sets out today, purely and simply because they're starting to get a little bit root bound in those little modules. Not sure where I'm going to put them yet, so yeah. All fun and games. We're start of spring. Things are starting to wind up a little bit, starting to get a little bit crazy. Well, not a little bit crazy, not yet. So yeah, hit that like and subscribe button. It's all fun and games today, so come along for the journey, eh? I'll see you in a bit. Good morning, YouTube. Okay guys, so I'm going to keep this brief. We're just going to sort of quickly talk about what I'm doing on screen in this time lapse. So what I decided to do, and if you really want to know, you can go back and watch the live stream. What I decided to do was I put some potatoes in a trench. Now these are some of my first earlies. I'm using Pentland Javelins as an early. It's not particularly an early, but I find when you pick them, when you take them out quite young, they actually have very tender, very nice little new potatoes. So I dig my trench a good spade depth deep. I then line it with some 6x pellets and some fish blood and bone, which you see I've just done. Break up the bottom with my cultivator, and then my potatoes go in. I give them a good spacing of about 2 foot each, and then just neaten it all off, flatten it all out. And that's it, guys. It's as simple as that for putting your potatoes in trench. So if you want to see it in close up, if you go back, I'll put a link on the screen with regards to the live chat. And then what I went on to do was I luckily found a dump of compost from a marijuana grower on my dog walk yesterday. So what I did was I collected it all up. Why not? It's pointless letting it go to waste. Collected it all up, and as it turns out, I had enough to fill 15 of my potato buckets, which has saved me a small fortune, I will say. So thank you, whoever that was that dumped that compost. You've saved me a small fortune. Hit me up, I'll sort you out some potatoes. But all I'm doing for the potatoes is filling the bucket a couple of inches deep in the bottom. 2 seed potatoes I'm doing in these 30-litre buckets this year. Last year I did 3. I'm shooting for 2 this year. Especially with the free compost, I thought, why not buy some more buckets, treat yourself. So that's what I'm going to do. So we've got that. I've also got 4 buckets from my overwintered potatoes, which was a bit of an experiment. A lot of them have frosted off, but some of them are showing signs of life, so we'll let them grow on. So that's it, guys. That's how I did it. Like I said, if you want to see it in a bit more detail, a bit more close up, it's in the live stream that I did whilst I was on the plot doing this. You see that I've been sort of, you would have seen my phone on the tripod in the background. That was live streaming. So by all means, please go check that out. But this was, I actually had to move up to the shed. The wind noise was getting too bad. But you can see me appear with a bucket every once in a while. But that's it, guys. That's potato. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be going around there in a minute, but just want to talk you through what I'm doing. Now, you should have seen in the time lapse, hopefully it lasted long enough, that I did do a trench for my first setting of first earlies. But then I decided that I'm too lazy for that. No, well, I am, but that's not what I decided. But then I decided I had all this compost in the car that I found from a generous grower in the area, so why not use that first? And it's got, to be honest, it's going along a lot further than I thought. If I just quickly show you down there, see all those buckets down there? There is 3, 6,
Now, there's 10 buckets down there that have all been filled from this waste compost that somebody left at the side of the road. And trust me, I know it was grown in because you can smell what it was grown in. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. So, I'm going to show you what I'm doing this year for my bucket planting. Obviously, this compost is a bit of an unknown with regards to its nutrient level, so there are certain steps I'm taking to help alleviate that worry or that concern. So I'm going to go grab my fish blood and bone from down the other end of the allotment, and we'll get some potatoes in this bucket and I'll talk you through it. I've got you set up in the shed and I keep forgetting that the camera's actually there. So there's a couple of things I'm doing, and I'll talk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. But what I'll do is I'll put a couple of inches of compost in the bottom of the bucket, which equates to about a spade's worth, or it equates to that size spade's worth. Now last year I actually did 3 per bucket. This year I'm doing 2. Now, if you've bothered to chit your potatoes, you want them chitted side up, and then all I'm doing is opposite ends of the bucket, and then I'll fill it up about halfway ish. And then what I'll do, because the energy that's stored in the tuber in the potato should be able to get the plant that far. Then what I'll do, sprinkle in a fish blood and bone, which is a slow release fertiliser as we discussed in the nitrogen fixing video. Little sprinkling of 6x, you really don't need much of this stuff. And then I'll fill the bucket up. And it is simple as that when it comes to bucket planted potatoes. The only drawback I've found of bucket planted potatoes is that they do need more watering. Now some people say, well, why not bury the buckets, which is a perfectly valid thing you can do, but for me the point behind bucket planted potatoes is to give me back the space that otherwise would be used for potatoes. So putting them in the ground is kind of a non-starter. Am I trying to take this out of the side? Silly me. This bag kind of gives away what was grown in this compost. So it wasn't. Before anybody starts saying things, it's salvage. These bags were at the side of the road, but that kind of gives away what was grown in it. I mean, it was obvious. It was obvious from the smell. But I ain't going to pass up free compost. Not in this kind of volume. At the end of the day, it's going to have filled 15 30-litre tubs. So all I'm doing is I'm looking to see if there's a root ball. Not bothered about those leaves, they can stay there. This one, yeah, there it is. The root ball can just go on the soil. The root ball will decompose and it'll actually give back some nitrogen. Actually, possibly quite a bit of nitrogen. And then, like I say, what I'll do with this one is, there's a bit more root ball, we'll get rid of you, is I'm going to give it just another quick top dressing of fish blood and bone. Once again, you don't need loads. That was kind of a chef's pinch. This compost, because it was at the side of the road, is lovely and wet, so I don't need to worry about watering them in really. And then it's just going to go down and join the line. And because I've been saved nearly, probably, what did I reckon in the live stream? about 360, 390 litres of compost purchase. It means I'm going to be able to afford more buckets, so happy days, eh? So once again, a good scoop of the compost. Two seed potatoes, either side, opposite sides, sort of 12 and 6 if you will. Oh. Got another good scoop in. That's another sort of 2 good scoops really, sort of fill it back at least sort of halfway. Bit of 6x. Once again, not much, it really doesn't need much, especially not when you're combining it with fish, blood and bone. Don't overuse, especially on the 6x, because you'll burn the plants. And then fill it up. And I'm going to do a top dressing again like I did on the last one, of fish, blood and bone. Just because, like I said, this compost is an unknown, and a good handful of fish, blood and bone will actually rejuvenate sort of this much compost. So, you know, that'll give it a good 6 weeks worth of feed, which of course is all you want out, which is all you get out of compost anyway. And the top dressing. So I'm going to get on. I'm going to fill the last 2. And then I'll come back to you with what's next. What's next is actually we're going to plant out some of the onion sets that are in the polytunnel, because they're getting a bit big and a bit root bound. So I'll see you in a bit, guys. Right guys, we're on with job number 2 for today. Number 2. What I'm going to do, what I've decided to do for the onion sets, is I'm going to put a row in at the edge of all the beds in the polytunnel, and then anything left over will go outside. So I'm going to sort of do whites, and then in another bed reds, and then whites in another bed reds. These beds in the middle here, just move me down a little bit, they'll get a row either side. I don't stagger plants in these, so, and all that's going in is tomatoes, and they can sort of go in the sort of middle of the bed, so there shouldn't be much in the way of interference. These beds have been fed through winter. The only thing they're lacking is a good drink, so that will be the second half of this job. So I'm going to close the door on the polytunnel and we'll crack on. I've got a trowel, I've got a little bit of fertiliser. If I run out of this onion fertiliser, I'm just going to use fish, blood and bone, and a top dressing of fish, blood and bone, and a little bit of 6x as well. So I'll crack on. It's going to be dead simple, I hope, he says. Famous last words, that, isn't it, for me? Oh, move you out of the way. I'm going to leave you over there. We all know how to plant onions, but when I come onto this middle bed, I will do one in close up for you. If you don't know how to plant onions and what you're doing with an allotment, I jest, of course. It's the sets that are going to go in here. The seeds, from seeds, I think I'm going to end up potting on, to be honest, because they seem to be a little bit further behind. So the soil isn't actually as dried out as I thought it was. So I'm just going to go down, loosen up all the soil, and then put an insect or 2 in. And then I'll come back to you once that's done. See if we can do a trenching technique, eh? That'll be a bit quicker. Want to try and match the soil depth on the set, because that's what it's used to, and the least we can stress the plant the better. So like that, ready to go. No, trenching won't get us deep enough, unfortunately. Now, take you, mare's tail head, take that off. Well, it will work, trenching will work, we'll just have to trench a little deeper. I'm hoping this is going to use up a fair amount of the sets, but we'll see. And then, like I say, I'll come in and give them a good watering in after we've done this. I need my sitting board really. These beds are too close together for me to kneel between. Get a few out. That wasn't ideal. All the compost fell away. Too low now. Didn't really want to build this space. I didn't really plan it that well. But we live and learn. There's a polytunnel project coming in the new year, in the year. So we'll hopefully the mistakes I made with this one we'll have learned from. But that's it. It's as simple as that when it comes to putting the onions in. Give them plenty of space. They're very hungry. Surprisingly hungry plants, and they don't like to be crowded. So if you can, give them plenty of space. But that's it when it comes to onions. I'll get the rest in and I'll come back to you. See you in a bit. Right guys, I didn't do the close-up of the onions purely and simply because I forgot. But, you know, you should be okay. It's not exactly hard to put something in some dirt, is it? You don't need me to show you that. So I'll quickly show you. In fact, I'll show you. They're right at the edge there. It's about 1 inch to 2 inches up until the edge of the edge of the bed, all the way down. I've done all the way down that side. I've done the 2 sides in this bed. I've put some lettuce in, some of the lettuces in there, the all year lettuces. So it's about 48 onions I've put in here. As you can see, I've still got a lot to go. But I'm going to wait now until my asparagus has come, because I want to intersperse the asparagus with some onions, just because I won't get anything off the asparagus this year, so I don't want that bed to be entirely wasted. And the rest I'll find a home for, really. I hadn't planned on having this many onions. I haven't even got my seeds in anywhere yet, so That'll be interesting. My one's from seed, so that'll be interesting. But I can always let them sit and I can use them as sets for next year, so I'm not overly worried. Just while we've got a very brief break in the wind, I'll just take you down. The tulips are starting to be done. Garlic. The potato buckets are all done, so hopefully, what is it, about 20 weeks I should have my first lot of potatoes. Seems like a long time, but it's actually really not. The normal crocuses are done. The fruit trees are starting to come to life, which is great. The shallot bed is doing okay. You know, nothing else has really changed. I've got, as you guys will have seen, the pea frame sorted, that's back up. The asparagus bed is now sorted. Oh, grab the action camera while I'm down here. The asparagus bed is sorted. I'm just waiting on the asparagus now. It's supposed to come out this month. Who knows, eh? I'll message Marshalls this afternoon, see if they've got a date, because we're now, where are we? We're now like 10 days till the end of the month, so message them, see if they've got an ETA. My daffs, still sitting pretty, look. I say my daffs, they're the missus's daffs, but I've got some more. I've got some more freebies from the garden centre when I went at the week, when I went with Marcus the other day. But yeah, whatever you're doing, guys, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're looking after those that are vulnerable. And we need to get sort of this community spirit up and running, guys, because if not, if this goes on for months, we're not going to come out on the other side looking very pretty, are we? Eh? So let's rally together, guys. Stay safe. Look after those in need. Look after those that need help. And look after yourselves. These are uncertain times. We don't know how long this is going to be going on for. So until next time, folks, I'll see you later.